Hey, I'm on a night walk here in Tokyo and I thought let me take you with and show you exactly what I do to close an easy premium 5K a month copywriting client in the next short while. It's a pretty simple, straightforward process if you know exactly what to do. So I'm going to take you on this walk with me and show you how to do it. Let's get into it. Hey guys, so today I'm going to share with you exactly how I'd close a 5K per month copywriting client in 7 simple steps. And at this point in my career, I've written copy directly and indirectly for hundreds of the world's top 7, 8, 9, and even 10-figure direct response companies. And I've also coached over 1,000 copywriters. So what I'm sharing with you in this video is not just some theory or my approach. This is what works again and again. But before I go any further, it's important you remember that closing clients is going to take you a lot more time than just watching a 20-minute video. So I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this video, but whatever you don't have clarity on, you can quite easily figure out by using your brain, watching other videos on my channel, and watching other videos in general and consuming content. So with that being said, let's get into it. Now, the biggest question most people ask me is, how long does it take to close a 5K per month copywriting client? And the answer is that it really just depends. Everyone's going to progress at a different speed. The real question is, how much time do you have each day to commit to implementing this system, and how willing are you to step out of your comfort zone and do something hard? Okay, so let's get started. I've broken down the process of closing a 5K per month copywriting client into 7 distinct steps. Step 1 is your mindset. So personally, I don't really like using the word mindset that much because it's quite rigid and limiting, but we can talk about that in another video. For now, let's just use this word mindset to represent you having the right attitude and perspective. And this might be hard to hear what I'm about to share, but you need this perspective if you want to succeed. You need this perspective if you want to make $5,000 per month from one client. And here it is. Most copywriters will never close a 5K per month retainer. That's just the simple fact. Just like only a small percentage of people become millionaires, only a small percentage of businesses make it to 10 million, and only a small percentage of people live to 100 years old and get their dream body. Most people don't achieve what they want. And a large reason for that is expectation, but the biggest thing in my perspective is personal choice. A lot of it has to do with personal choice. Most people are not willing to pay the price that it takes to get what they want in life. They're not willing to go the extra mile. They're not willing to be uncomfortable for months or years before seeing a return. They're also not really willing to drop their ego and get feedback, especially in the realm of copywriting. They're lazy. They would rather have someone else think for them. And most of all, many copywriters are not willing to invest money into their career or spend a considerable amount of time working on their skills, especially since AI. You see it all the time now. People are not investing in their skills. They're not working at the craft. They're just using AI, and they're like, oh, let me just pump out copy using AI. And that's why most people are not going to close a 5K month retainer client. If you want to close a 5K month retainer client as a copywriter, you need the mindset of those successful copywriters in our industry. And that's going to take time. But it's a choice that you get to make. You need to make this choice. You need to decide right now if you want to be a successful copywriter or not. That's the most important thing. And if you choose to become a successful copywriter, you have to do what successful copywriters do. Successful copywriters are consistent. They are resourceful. They think of ways to stand out from the competition. They have thick skin, and they can handle rejection. For example, when you're trying to land a 5K per month client, you're going to face a lot of rejection. Many premium clients are going to take a long time to make decisions. Sometimes they're not going to choose you. And for many people, that's too much. For many people, it's too painful to be rejected. And when something doesn't work, a lot of copywriters just give up. The successful ones don't. They can handle rejection. So you need to be able to have these qualities. You need to decide to embrace these things right now. And the best way you can do that and improve your mind is to change your environment. This means keep a clean workspace, pay bills on time, prioritize your health, feed your mind content that empowers you to be a better copywriter. Premium clients can tell when you have your life together. If you're disorganized in your personal life, it's going to show up in business. If you're always stressed about money, it's going to show up in your sales conversation. And as cliche as it is, you're going to become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you want to charge 5K per month, you need to surround yourself with other successful copywriters who are already making 5K for one client, 6K from one client, 7K or even 10K from one client. So join masterminds, attend high-level events, build relationships with successful copywriters and business owners, and invest in your environment. And when you do this, you're going to improve your mindset. And that is the most important thing. That is step 1. So let's get into step 2 now. So step 2 is your positioning. Most copywriters think positioning is about what you say about yourself. But positioning is mostly about what others say about you when you're not in the room. Yeah, your reputation creates your positioning. And your reputation is built through every single conversation you have, not just with clients. Your reputation comes from the way you respond to feedback, your reachability with clients, how you participate in team meetings, how you handle challenges. It all contributes to how people describe you when you're not in the room. People will always remember how you made them feel and not really so much what exactly you said. So, for example, let's say a client gives you feedback that you disagree with. You have two choices. You can reject it and think that you're the expert and you can come across as uncooperative. That's going to affect your positioning and your reputation. Or you can receive the feedback graciously, thank the client, and see how you can improve and incorporate the feedback into your writing. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be easy, and there are going to be many situations where you have to bite your tongue, especially when you know your client's wrong. But it's part of what it takes to build a good reputation. You need to be professional. Every engagement you have needs to communicate professionalism. That is the priority. That's how you build your reputation. I'll give you another example. So when you deliver work, instead of just handing in a Google Doc and disappearing, you could include context about your thinking process and share recommendations for how to use what you've created. Right? You can also be proactive about finding solutions. You can also look at other marketing related challenges in the business. When you're in a team meeting, you could contribute valuable insights and you can ask some thoughtful questions. You're looking for ways to be helpful. You're looking for ways to add value. When you miss a deadline or make a mistake, you need to take ownership immediately. And you need to start presenting a solution to solve the fact that, you missed the deadline. And always remember, your reputation compounds over time. Every single time that you have a positive interaction, your reputation is getting stronger and stronger. So that's the most important thing. The most important thing is every single person that you engage with, you need to make an effort. You need to genuinely show up as a professional. Build that reputation. Don't take shortcuts with this. Now, that's the majority. But there's another 20% to positioning, and that has more to do with what you say and what you get your clients to say about you. So that's your testimonials. And you want to capture good testimonials. The key to great testimonials is literally just asking for them. Just ask for a testimonial when you get results for a client. Or ask your client for feedback on what it's like working with you. And when they respond, they're going to give you feedback. And when they give you the feedback, it's probably going to be good feedback if you're a good writer. And when they give you that good feedback, they could say something like, it's been fantastic working with you. You're super responsive. You don't miss any deadlines. You're really great at what you do. When they give you that feedback, you can say, hey, thanks so much. I'm really glad you enjoyed this. I'm really glad you enjoyed working with me so far. Would you mind sharing this with me as a video testimonial that I can add to my website? Just ask them. The worst case is that they say no. And if they do, they'll probably give you a reason, and then you can figure out how to fix that, and you can ask again later. The amount of copywriters that just don't ask for stuff is crazy, so just ask. And even if you don't get a testimonial, you can always create a case study. Like, you don't need them to say stuff to create a case study. And if you don't know how to create a case study, this is a perfect example of what I said earlier. I can't cover everything in 20 minutes. So go Google how to create a case study and, learn how to do it, or use AI or something, okay? Okay, so last two things before we move on. Take photos and post online so business owners know that you're a real human being. That's going to help you with positioning too, because they're going to see you're active. They're going to see that you're actually part of the industry. And make an effort to do it consistently so that it doesn't just look like you did it for 1 week and then you lost momentum and you lost motivation. It's very powerful. It's changed my life. Ever since I've started being active and posting like this video, it's just made my life so much better. And the second thing is always look for ways to do things for clients and for potential prospects to increase your exposure and experience. And what I mean by that is, doing stuff so that you can talk about the things you've done for all the people that you've worked for. The more work you can do for good businesses, even if you don't get paid much for it, you can use that later as positioning. You can use that in a sales call, right? So you want to give yourself as many opportunities as possible to get experience and get exposure. Then you can use those wins to build your positioning and status. All right, so step 3, you're prospecting. So most copywriters fail to close premium retainer clients because they plant lemon seeds and they expect an apple tree to grow. That is to say, if you want to win and you want to get good clients, you should target good clients in the first place. You should focus on businesses that already have the systems and the cash flow to actually afford paying you 5K, 6K, 7K, 8K, 9K, or 10K a month, right? We can call this the 50-50 rule. 50% of your success is your copywriting, but the other 50% is actually who you work with. So this is actually going to make your life a lot easier. In fact, working with premium clients makes your life better because when you work with good businesses, you get really good results. They have systems in place. They just need you to optimize stuff, right? On the other hand, if you work with like a 6-figure client, a low-paying client, somebody that's just getting started, they need everything fixed. Nothing really works. Their offer doesn't work. Their funnel doesn't work. They don't really know their traffic source. You're just going to have a very hard time making money for that business. So how do you find these good clients? Here are 5 things I personally look for when I'm doing prospecting. Number 1, product market fit. So product market fit means that they have a proven offer. They're selling something a lot of people are buying. And you can tell that they've got a proven offer because they've been selling the same thing for at least 12 months. And they have a lot of happy customers. Don't work with businesses who are still figuring things out, who are still figuring out their offer, who are still figuring out what kind of marketing funnel that they want to build. That's going to just waste your time. The second thing is a proven funnel. So the proven funnel is, okay, you've got the offer, but now they also have a funnel that is converting cold traffic, taking strangers and turning them into buyers again and again. I prefer working with these businesses because they already have the offer and they already have the funnel. And so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to build everything from scratch. I'm just going to get paid to do what I'm really, really good at. Make them money with copy. And that brings me to the third one. So the next one is that they have a proven traffic source. So they have a good offer, they have a good funnel, and they also have reliable traffic. They have people coming to their business, coming to their funnels, their websites, their social media every single day. If their traffic is not very reliable, is not very consistent, you're going to have a lot of trouble because your copy is only going to work when they have traffic, and you don't want to do that. That's going to be a lot of work. Now, the fourth thing is that they have a good brand, a strong brand. When a business owner has a strong brand, it makes the sales process, it makes the conversion systems a lot easier. Now, when a business owner has a strong brand, it makes sales, it makes conversion, it makes marketing, it makes everything a lot easier because people already know, like, and trust the business owner. And I prefer this because yes, of course, you can write copy for a business that doesn't have a strong brand, but it's going to be very, very difficult to make the money right out of the gate unless you're a very, very good copywriter. On the other hand, if you work with one of these businesses that already has a brand and an offer and a funnel and proven traffic, they're going to be making money from your copy. So you're going to be able to charge them premium rates because you're making them a lot of money from your work. And then the most easy one and the most important one is that they have 7 figures a year of revenue. They're doing at least 7 figures per year. They're ideally doing multiple 7 figures. This way, they have the budget and they have the systems in place to support your 5K per month copywriting invoice. Okay, that's like super, super important. 6-figure businesses are usually trying to do everything themselves still. They're still trying to figure stuff out and they're quite tight on cash flow. On the other hand, 7-figure guys, they understand the value of hiring specialists. They probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing, so they're going to be comfortable spending $5,000 with you. Okay, so how do you find these guys? It's pretty straightforward. Check Facebook ad library, look at communities, sign up to email lists, pay attention to what other business owners are saying online. Maybe they have friends that they're talking to and those people are also successful. A lot of successful entrepreneurs share their wins on podcasts, on social media, and interviews. You can find them by just searching on the internet, really. It's actually quite straightforward. People just don't do it. They just don't sit there for more than 5 minutes before they start scrolling, doom scrolling. You can also find these clients on award lists, like ClickFunnels has an award every year that they give out. School has them too, School by Sam Ovens. And businesses that win these awards, they're doing 7 figures and usually multiple 7 figures. You could also look on LinkedIn, on job boards. You can look for companies that are actively hiring copywriters. Successful people get interviewed a lot, like I said. So, you can just go to channels where they interview the most successful people on the internet, and you can probably find plenty of them like that as well. Okay, so once you have a business that you want to target, then you want to find their contact information. So you can use tools like Rocket Reach. That's pretty good. There are lots of tools that help you to get contact information, not just that one. So figure it out, use your brain, Google it, use AI. There's probably like 100 videos on how to do this. I'm not going to go into it here. And don't just find contact information for the founder. Also look for contact information from marketing directors, CMOs, copy chiefs, media buyers, other people in the business that are potentially going to be the direct report that you directly report to, right? And you can also check on the about page on company websites for these other people in the team, or you can use LinkedIn. Sometimes the decision maker is not even the founder. So this is really, really important because many of the businesses I've worked with, I didn't actually talk to the founder directly for a very, very long time. Often I just talk with the marketing director. So that's something to keep in mind. And that's all I got for you on prospecting. The rest you can figure out. There's plenty of videos on the internet about how to do prospecting. Like, this is not complicated. Businesses have been doing this on the internet for, decades, okay? So it's all readily available online. If you can't find it on the internet, then you're going to struggle as a marketer in general because, it's all there. All right, so let's talk about step 4, your strategy. I don't want to go into too much detail here because I have a complete video on this channel that covers 12 of the best strategies to close copywriting clients. So go check out that video. Those are the strategies I use. Those are the strategies that will get you premium clients. Just watch the video and choose the best videos that make sense for your situation. What I will say here is it's better that you follow one of those strategies consistently than try find this perfect strategy, this perfect way to get clients nobody's using. Don't worry about all this perfect, best stuff. The best strategy. Forget that stuff. Just focus on even an average strategy. Just focus on an average strategy. Because if you follow an average strategy consistently, you're going to get better results than if you follow a perfect strategy once in a while, inconsistently. Just focus on one strategy and do what you have to do every single day for at least 90 days. And then you can decide then if you want to keep doing it or you want to try something else. But stay consistent. Most copywriters, especially newer copywriters, especially copywriters who have never closed a 5K a month client, they try all the different strategies at once. They try 5 different strategies. They try 6 different strategies. They try this one, then they try that one. They don't even do the bare minimum with just one strategy, and then they don't get results. And then they're like, I don't understand. Why does this not work? Why am I not closing clients? Because you're not consistent, because you're not following through, because you're not doing what you need to do. Let's go back to step 1. Mindset, right? Consistency is what successful copywriters do. And I'm not just saying spam people if you decide to do outreach. You have to do quality as well. So make sure that when you do the strategy consistently, you keep working on improving the quality. And also just get your approach reviewed. Have a successful copywriter review your strategy and save you some time. Let them look at it and let them see, okay, this part's good, this part's not so good. This part you could make a little bit better. Why don't we change this? Why don't we change that, right? I've seen some copywriters send thousands of cold DMs and then nothing works and they wonder why it's not working. And then when I look at their DM, when I look at their outreach or their cold message or whatever, I'm like, wow, you need to change this, this, and this. Why didn't you bring this to me sooner? Why didn't we have a look at this sooner? And that's often the case, is that a lot of copywriters, they just do a lot of stuff and they don't get any feedback. And you really need to get feedback because the small tweaks with copywriting, the small stuff makes the biggest difference. Sometimes one word can be the difference between $1 million campaign and a very, very bad campaign that flops. So don't underestimate the power of words. The small tweaks can make a very, very big difference. So stay consistent and get feedback from an experienced copywriter like me. Okay? So step 5, your pitch. Once you've identified your ideal prospects and you've decided the strategy that you want to go with, then you want to craft a pitch to get their attention. Your pitch needs to sound way better than just oh, I can help you write better copy. Okay? It needs to capture the attention of the person you're reaching out to. It needs to make them curious. It needs to make them want to know more about you. Now, I'm not going to give you a word-for-word pitch in this video because if I did that, literally every single person watching would probably use that script and then it would stop working. Okay? So I can't give you the exact script. The beauty of a good pitch is that if you can figure out a good pitch and it works for you, you just keep using that pitch because that's your pitch that's working for you and no one else knows about it. If you go and use the same pitch as everybody else, you're going to have competition constantly. So I'm going to just give you pointers. I'm going to tell you what you should have in your pitch. I'm not going to say exactly what you should say in your pitch, just what you should have in your pitch, okay? So The most important thing is that you show personalized interest, that you show that you actually care and that you're actually interested in their business. It's not some generic, hey, love your content. It's not like, oh, wow, that's great. Really great stuff, man. Don't do that stuff. I get messages like that all the time on Instagram from random people always pitching me, and it's like the same thing. They all sound the same. Nobody makes any effort. The people that make an effort, I actually reply to. Even now, even with cold messages, people that make an effort are thoughtful. They genuinely say something thoughtful about me or my business that they've thought about. I'm going to usually reply. And it could be something simple like, about a recent campaign, or maybe something that the business owner said that you really resonate, but make an effort, make an actual effort. And then you want to look for some wins. You want to find an opportunity that gives your potential client an easy win. Don't just write something vague about like, oh, I can help you write copy, I saw your VSL, so I wrote something better. Test it out, let me know what you think. Like, don't do that, because that's making them think, that's making them try to figure out what they have to do, that's giving them work. They didn't ask for work, they don't know you. There's no clear leverage, there's no urgency. Instead, say something like, after writing 1,000 cold traffic leads in BizOp and generating millions of dollars for my clients with VSL copy, I've noticed that emotional leads make a lot of money in your niche. And when you don't use them, it actually sometimes affects conversions by up to 50%. So I wrote you an emotional lead that you can test out in your VSL because your current one doesn't have one. So test this and see what happens. That's so much more authentic. There's so much more authority. 1,000, you've written 1,000 leads, you've generated millions of dollars. Now you don't actually have to say that. I wouldn't really do a VSL pitch anyway, because VSLs are quite difficult to test. But something like that, maybe with like email or ads, or you want to look for something in their business. You want to go and do a bit of digging. Are their emails going to spam? Do they have low conversion rates on their sales page? Is something broken that's obvious? Are people dropping off at a specific point in the funnel? Like, don't make your prospects think too much. That's work. They're busy. That's when they're going to stop replying to you. So if you make people think, you make people give them work, you're generic, they're going to ignore your message. They get way too many as it is. And I already mentioned this a little bit, but you can showcase your client's success. Like, in the message, you want to show people that you've generated results. You don't have to talk about all the money that you've made. You can just talk about how businesses have trusted you to do this. Maybe mention a few names if you can. Just briefly mention stuff just to prove that you're not just making the stuff up, that you've actually done something. So make sure to use some credibility to prove your claim. And then the last thing is just make sure your pitch is very, very clear about what you want. Like, make sure you have a clear ask and a very clear next step. Don't make them guess. Don't make them wonder what you want, or some pitches don't even say the word copywriting. And I get it, because some strategies they'll tell you to not use the word copywriting, but you got to be specific about what you want people to do. Some people have no idea. Like, I've got so many pitches, I don't know what they're going to do for me, to the point where I don't even bother to reply, because I just don't know what they want. So there's no point. So you can have a really great pitch, but if you don't have a very clear ask, if you don't have a very clear next step, people might not do anything. And that's really the basics. Like, don't overthink it. There's not that much more than that, The rest is just good copywriting. The rest is just good marketing, good thinking. I work with 100 copywriters privately in my mastermind, the Copy Dojo. And when I work with copywriters, I almost never see the exact same pitch. They all have their own pitches. That's why they're always closing clients, because they've got their own original way of doing it. They've developed a piece of copy. They're copywriters. They're standing out from everybody else. So that's what you need to do too, okay? So step 6 is your sales skills. Now here's where most copywriters fall apart. They can't do sales calls, and maybe you've experienced this too, I'm not sure, but no, most copywriters, they don't like this. They don't like sales calls. You can write great copy, you can identify good prospects, you maybe even schedule a call, but once you're on the call, you lose frame, you become an order taker instead of a consultant or an expert. And then they give you some, send me a proposal, or I'll think about it, or, what's your price, or can you do a discount? People just don't really treat you with respect on the sales call, Most copywriters struggle with this, but this is one of the most important steps, because if you want to close a 5K month retainer, you need to master sales. You need to get really good at sales. And the biggest shift you need to make is you're not selling words. You're selling results. You're selling the CEO their time back. You're selling lower customer acquisition costs. You're selling more clients to them. You're selling them money. That's ultimately what you're doing. Copywriters are selling money at a discount. That's what it is. You're giving businesses money and they're paying you a lot less to get a lot more. Don't worry about scripts. Don't worry about objection handling. I said before, master sales. You don't really have to master sales. You just have to focus on being genuine. You just have to focus on coming in and demonstrating that you're an expert by asking good questions, actually listening, trying to understand where they're coming from. Assume you've been hired as a consultant. Assume that you're just figuring out the game plan together. You don't need anything on the call, right? Now, here's my simple sales call framework that consistently closes 5K per month retainers. Okay, it's very, very straightforward. The first thing I do is I connect. So I have my camera on, good background, good energy. Here I am, I want to help. Just be genuinely human. Don't try some random rapport building checklist. Don't think about it too much. Remove yourself from the outcome. You're not desperately trying to make a sale. If someone wants to work with you, they're going to, okay? They have a problem, you don't. You have a solution. So on the sales call, you have a solution, you don't have a problem. They have a problem. So it's easy. It's easy. You don't have to worry about it. Now, I get it. Some people are stressed because they don't have a lot of money. We go back to step 1, mindset, right? You got to be able to work through that stuff. Because the more confident and relaxed you are, the easier it's going to be for them to trust you and want to work with you. Now, phase 2 is strategize. And that means you have to understand where they're coming from. You have to understand their needs. Now, here's the magic transition question I like to use. I always use this on all my sales calls. Everybody's probably going to use it now. Let's watch this video. But I really like it. It's really useful. It's, hey, so what are you working on so I can see how I can help? Or, hey, let me know what you're working on so I can see how I can help. Right? Just, what are you working on? Let me see how I can help. Or, you need emails. I write emails. How can I help? Depending on, the context of the sales call and how you got on the phone. And then actually listen. Actually listen to what they tell you. And you want to ask expert questions that demonstrate your knowledge. You don't have to know everything about their business. You don't have to overwhelm them with questions, but you want to ask some good questions that help you get a better understanding of, what you need to do for them. But also it shows them that you know what you're doing. So, you could just say something as simple as like ask them what current open rates and click-through rates. You can go deeper than that, but that's like a good starting point. Open rates, click-through rates. With VSLs, it's like, what's the drop-off? How many people stay till the close? Like, you want to get the data, you want to get the stuff that's useful so that you can do your job, right? All right, so then we go into phase 3, the close. And this is really simple. You just recap the stuff you talked about in the call and confirm if you're on the same page. So, for example, based on what you've told me, it sounds like we need a welcome sequence, we need some better promotional emails that don't sound salesy, and we need 1 daily broadcast email every single day. Right? Yeah? Then they're going to confirm, they'll be like, yeah. And then you could say something like, cool, so from here, I'm going to set up an onboarding call with your marketing director and get everything I need from your marketing director, dive into your brand, get a better understanding of your voice, audit your current, email list, have a look at the data, and then I'm going to start writing. And I'll have the first drafts for you by the end of the week. How does that sound? Something like that, right? Just like assume the close, just tell them that's what the process is going to be. And then you say, you could say your rate, then you say the price, right? So I like to use the word investment. So if that all sounds good to you, I can make this happen for $5,000 per month. And then that's it. You just shut your mouth and you wait for them to say something. Or you could say, if that all sounds good, the investment would be $5,000 per month. And that's it. Quiet. After you say the price, don't say anything. Now, as for handling objections, I'm not really going to get into it in this video because I've got another video coming soon to this channel. But basically, if you do the process correctly, you don't really have to spend too much time on objections. If you follow the sales process, the only real objections you'll get is like, can you send me a proposal? I need to think about it. And usually it's not really about that. Usually it's about the price. So there's plenty of videos on the internet actually about how to do this, but I'll record one as well and publish it soon. So keep an eye out for that video. All right, so now we're at the final step, step 7, your implementation. Once you've closed that first 5K per month client, congratulations. You have done something very few people can do. But remember, it's a retainer. So this is just the beginning. The close is just the beginning. Now you actually have to go do the work. Most copywriters think that it's all about the deal, closing the deal, but you have to keep them. You have to keep their expectations. You have to maintain their expectations and make them happy, make them feel that they made the right decision investing in you, right? You want to start delivering everything you promised. You want to focus on getting them results, not just on writing the copy that they paid for. You don't want to just disappear. You want to be consistent. You want to be available. You want to be ready to take calls with them if they need it. You don't want to disappear and like not message for 2 weeks or something and then come back and be like, oh, I'm back and here's the copy. You want to be easy to reach. Remember, the client's not paying you just $5,000 per month for copy. They're paying for the result. They're paying for, the performance. They're paying for the sales. So track everything you do. Track the open rates, click rates, revenue generated, conversion improvements, opt-in page, the improvements you've made to the opt-in page. Track everything, screenshot everything, document everything, no matter how small. Some of that stuff you can use with your client to show them that you've got results, and other stuff you could use later to close another client. And just become indispensable, just really focus on helping the business. Make friends with people in the team. Don't just work with the person that you're, like the marketing director or the CEO. Make an effort, because the relationships that you build will often lead to referrals as well. So there you have it. Those are the 7 steps. That's what I'd recommend you do in that order. Please make sure you get feedback from a mentor or from successful copywriters. You do not want to skip getting feedback. It's so important. You'll close so many more businesses. It'll be worth it. And just keep working on your skills. Work on the 2 most important skills, writing copy and getting clients. Those 2 skills are going to keep helping you. They're going to keep making you better. The better you get at writing copy, the better you can close clients. The better you can close clients, the better you'll be at writing copy, because you'll be working for better businesses, right? And just don't take shortcuts. Go back to step 1, right? Mindset. I've seen copywriters try skip stuff. I've seen copywriters try and do stuff for a short time and then move on. You can't just close a $5,000 a month client by doing a few of these steps that you feel like and then skip the others because they're difficult. It's only going to work if you combine everything I've shared in this video. That's when you become unstoppable. My private copywriting students, they have some of the best businesses in the world. They've closed them and they keep closing. They collect clients like Pokemon because it's just so easy for them, because they follow all these steps, because most people just don't follow the steps. And that's all I got to share with you, man. Just follow the steps, be consistent, and you're going to start closing $5,000 a month copywriting retainers and get feedback. Now, if you want to go through everything I've covered today from start to finish in much more detail, and you want to get feedback on every step of the process, then apply to join us in my mastermind, the Copy Dojo. In the dojo, you're going to get access to all my systems and many of the top copywriters in the world. We work in there every single week on closing premium clients, on making them a lot of money, and just getting better and better and better. If you want to be a part of it, go to the link in the description and submit an application. I personally review every application, but I'll tell you up front, we only accept active copywriters who already have clients. So if you don't have clients, just continue watching these videos. But if you do have clients, then I'm looking forward to hearing from you.